What's up everyone, we're back at it again. My name is Brad and welcome back to my channel. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a water wick system for my plants. The reason why I want to do this is because my plants, they tend to hold water in the saucer, and what I want to do is I want to give the plants the ability to wick that water from the saucer back up into the root ball. If you like videos like this, please be sure to subscribe to the channel because we're super close to 1,000 subscribers. Okay, enough talking. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So here's my fiddly fig, and the fiddly fig I currently have sitting in a nursery pot, and the nursery pot is in this decorative pot. And there's probably about a 4 or 5 inch gap between the bottom of the nursery pot and the bottom of the decorative pot. And then down here, we just have a saucer. Now, the problem that I run into is that whenever I water this fiddly fig, it doesn't get fully saturated because I don't have any of that root ball actually touching the bottom of the saucer, which therefore means that I have no uptake from the saucer back up into the root ball. And it really just leads to an overall dry root ball. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create a water wicking system. I've already done it over on this fiddly fig. And what that water wicking system is going to do is it's going to allow for water that's in the saucer to wick back up into the root ball to allow for my fiddly fig to get fully saturated. Now, when we look at the leaves here, we see that there's a lot of spotting on the leaves. The spotting of these leaves on the leaves is due to my fiddly fig being underwatered. So let me go ahead and take this root ball out so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So when we look at the root ball of this fiddly fig, this is actually very dry right now. I mean, the soil is just falling off fairly easily. And then when we look inside, we see again that this particular nursery pot is elevated. And then I just took the pot up and you see that I do have some water that is currently sitting in the saucer. And this water has no way of being reabsorbed, so it's just sitting at the bottom of this nursery pot, or at the bottom of this decorative pot. Now, when I create this wicking system, it's going to allow for this water that's in here to, like I said, get reabsorbed up to the root ball. So let's go ahead and start that process right now. So to create the wicking system, I have some cotton rope here. And you want to use cotton because cotton is what is going to actually wick up that water. You don't want to use like a nylon, which is kind of like a synthetic plastic, because there's no way for that water to transverse the plastic to get back up to the root ball. So I'm just going to cut off a good amount of cotton here, cotton rope here. This seems to be good. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to run it through the pot, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So here we have the pot, the nursery pot, and here's the decorative pot. I have 2 bricks to help elevate the nursery pot in the decorative pot. And then obviously I have the hole for drainage that I'm going to run my wick through. If you like videos like this and want to continue to see more videos about houseplant tips and tricks, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're really close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and I would really love to have you along for the journey. So let's get back into it. So I'm going to try to illustrate how to do this. I'm going to take one end, run it through. I'm going to take the other end, run it through the opposite side. And then what I want to do is I want to tie a loose knot on the bottom. Like this. Now that I have this loose knot, I'm going to run it through the hole of the decorative pot. And I have a lot of excess here. And the reason why I have that excess is because ultimately the root ball goes all the way up the side of the nursery pot. So I want to situate the wick as like so, about this high. That way I can try to saturate as high up on the root ball as possible, as opposed to just trying to saturate the bottom of that root ball. So let's go ahead and run that through the nursery pot now, or through the decorative pot now. All right, so now I have the wick that's through the decorative pot. You see it's through the hole of the decorative pot. And then I have the nursery pot that is just sitting inside of the decorative pot. Okay, so I'm gonna put this nursery pot back in the decorative pot, like so. And then I want to pull up on the wick some, and I'm gonna situate it right back into, or right back on the saucer, like so. Now, one of the other things that I want to point out as far as why this wicking system is important is because of the fact that I have water that's sitting in the bottom of that saucer, but my root ball is still dry, and that's not always a good thing. Let me also make sure that I have enough of this wick touching the water. So I'm gonna leave about this much hanging. And I'm just gonna put that right. I'm gonna go a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay. Excellent. Just like that. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we fill the bottom of this pot a little bit with soil, because we would like for this wick to sit on top of this fresh soil as opposed to being at the bottom of the fresh soil. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to situate this root ball back in the pot, like so. And we're going to give some fresh soil as well. Okay. All right, so we have the wick that is pulled up to the side of the root ball, and then the wick goes down into the bottom of the pot, which is sitting on the saucer. The saucer has water in it, but we're still gonna give this one nice drink since I did give it some more soil and because I saw that the root ball was fairly dry. So let's do that right now. One thing to be mindful of when we talk about this wick system is that when you're wicking water up from the bottom of a saucer, it takes some time for that cotton rope to actually absorb the water enough to where it brings it up to the top of the root ball. So you're gonna have some water sitting in the bottom of your pot for a few hours before you actually notice anything. And that's totally normal, totally fine. And one of the great benefits about having a wick like this is we are really doing a great job reducing the chance of any kind of root rot occurring on this particular plant. So if that is something that you are afraid might happen to your plant, just set up a wick system like what I've done right here. I'm really happy that I went ahead and took care of this houseplant chore of setting up a wicking system for 2 of my fiddle leaf figs. This is really gonna help my fiddle leaf figs a lot, especially during this dormant season as I have them inside. I think I'm gonna keep them inside for the next growing season just to see how they acclimate. And I'm really hoping that with this wicking system, I can ensure that I'm thoroughly watering my fiddle leaf figs. I really want to minimize the amount of leaf drop that I have this upcoming season. Thank you so much for watching the video today. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll see you on the next one.